righty, welcome everybody. Let me change my birth control glasses here. We know those didn't work. Okay, here we go. Well, let's see. We got what do we got here? September 3rd, 2023. How about that? 241st edition of Speaking of Zane. We started these shenanigans on August the 5th of 2018. That was just over a year and a half before the pandemic. But we're still at it. We are still at it some 5 years later. Good to have everybody in here tonight. Let's see who we've got in the chat joining us. Steve Shirley's in there. Hey, Steve. Now, Steve and Ken, I think, were able to connect this past week. Ken was up in Omaha, Nebraska for some work. Even though he's retired, he does a little side hustle consulting. And I think it's true that Ken and Steve were able to get together and break some bread. So happy for you guys. Let's see. Lori's in there. Daryl's in there. Daryl, everybody, you have everybody following your poop cycle. I hope everything is going okay. You created a nice following there. I hope everything came out okay and you're feeling better soon. I know I'm laughing about it. I know it's a serious matter. I hope you're doing okay. Colin Krim is in there. Hello, Colonel. How you doing from down in Albuquerque? There's my dad in there. Hey, Dad. From South Georgia, Fitzgerald, Georgia, Ben Hill County to be exact. I mentioned Ken. Ken's in there. All right, let's see who else we got here. Daryl's a lot better now. I'm glad to hear it, buddy. I'm glad to hear it. Let's see. All right. There's my Aunt Mary. Hey, Aunt Mary, got you in there. Okay, good crowd tonight. Appreciate you guys joining as you do every Sunday night. Let me arrange the banners and whatnot here. I like there we go. You can see me a little better. See my shirt. Lori must have got this for me. I can be a little grumpy sometimes, but not usually. All right. Well, let's see what we have got going on this week at the fabulous McDonald Estate and Insane Asylum. Good to have everybody in there. Hope you're having a great Labor Day weekend. It's been a little bit since we've had a long weekend, hasn't it? I guess Memorial Day maybe, or 4th of July. No, 4th of July doesn't do a Monday thing, does it? But I think it might have fell. Anyway, good to have a long weekend for sure. I cooked a massive pot roast yesterday. And probably a 3-pounder. I knew it was going to last me at least 3 days. So I ate on it yesterday, ate on it today for 2 meals. And I've still got probably a pound of pot roast left. It came out really good. Delicious. One of my favorite things to do. I decided not to grill. I do have a huge brisket, frozen brisket in the freezer. And I know it's going to take me, 10 hours or 12 hours to cook. And I just didn't feel like doing that. So I decided to go with the roast, which was fantastic. Got a little college football in yesterday. That snuck up on us, didn't it? I did watch a couple of games, a little bit of probably 4 or 5 games, a little bit of each. Watched the most of the A&M game, of course, but Georgia Southern won. It's always good. And Texas A&M won. Nobody really played anybody of any consequence. I guess Colorado wasn't supposed to beat TCU, but they did. Coach Prime got out of the gate strong there, but watched a little of that game. But good to have college football back for sure. Temps a little bit lower. We've been in the upper 70s, low 80s here in North Georgia. But and a good weekend for baseball. The Braves took 3 of 4 from the Dodgers, 3 of 4. They just couldn't quite wrap it up today, but played really good. Late game, so boy, I tell you, I was really dozing about the 9th inning of those games. Comes around midnight, but it reminds me, Dad, of the old when the Braves, remember on TBS, and the Braves were part of the National League West. And they always had to play the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Giants. And A lot of games out there, a lot of late games for the Braves back then. But all right, well, let's see. So hopefully everybody's having a good long weekend. I'll be off tomorrow, of course, like everybody else, but I'll be kind of getting ready to go out of town, getting packed, make sure I have everything I need, leaving to go to London Tuesday afternoon. I have to go from Atlanta to JFK, JFK to Heathrow. So I got to get everything kind of done tomorrow because I have a couple of meetings in the morning on Tuesday, and then I got to get to the airport Tuesday afternoon. But before speaking of the weekend, you guys, I don't know if you guys remember or not, but it's been about 18 months. So March, Lori knows about this. Of course, we live next door to him, but Lori wasn't home when this happened, but our neighbor's house was struck by lightning in March of 2022, caught fire. You guys have heard me tell the story. I went into the house, tried to find a dog. I couldn't stay. Anyway, so the house had to be totally gutted and totally renovated. And the neighbors, God bless them, Mike and April, just moved back in the house this weekend. 18 months. They just moved back in the house. Wow, what an ordeal. Can you imagine that disruption? But everybody there in great spirits. Mike was out grilling last night, invited me over for a bratwurst or a chorizo, but I had just eaten already. But glad to see them in. They've been moving things in slowly, had the big move in on Saturday, and they pretty much got everything there. But anyway, it was good to have them back in. All right, Ken says he's back in Orlando, but he had a great time with S2. Oh, Dad, you have the same shirt? Okay. Well, neither me or my dad are really that grumpy. But I guess sometimes we get labeled, don't we, Dad? Now, my students at work, every now and then I would get a little grumpy with them because they weren't sort of meeting my expectations. And so I got the grumpy grandpa moniker is what I got every now and then. Guy, why are you such a grumpy grandpa? But you know what? They all love me, and they were all so. They all, I think, are grateful for the experience of spending an entire year with this old grumpy grandpa. But they did really good, and I was more nice than grumpy. Anyway, all right. Let's see. Toby's in there. My cousin. Hey. Let's see. Tuesday night. I'm flying because when you fly. When you fly to Europe, you fly overnight. Flying Tuesday night. I get there Wednesday morning, and actually going straight to the office from the airport. So, yep, leaving Tuesday, get there Wednesday. Been that way the whole time. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much the standard. They fly you, which is great because you can sleep all the way there and get up fresh in the new day and rock and roll. All right, let's see what else we got here. So the neighbors are in. And so let's back up a minute. Last week we talked about being in Florida last weekend, which we had a great time. I got surprised by Amy and Barb and Carrie. You guys spent most of last week talking about it. Well, Amy, Barb, and Carrie, they got stuck because of the Hurricane Idalia. They got stuck down there. I think they were supposed to leave on Tuesday, and they finally got out of there Thursday evening. But the hurricane turns out passed by Punta Gorda. They did get some, obviously, some wind and rain and everything, but they were okay. I don't even think they lost electricity there in their Airbnb. And then they made it back to the airport on Thursday, and everybody's back home safely. But yeah, it was, they had quite an experience for sure. Now, they did well, but my Warriors place did not fare so well. Turns out the original My Warriors place in Ruskin flooded, unfortunately. Um, it has gotten some flooding before, but never to this extent. And so a couple of the cabins that are down close to the river, the waterway, got flooded, and just a lot of damage there, as you might imagine, in a hurricane. So I posted on the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. I'm sure eventually, once I get things situated, I'll spin up another work crew from my work, and we'll run out there and give them a hand with whatever's needed. But yeah, terrible when that happens down there, and they're right on the river. Okay, let's see. So I mentioned going back to London this week, so I'll be there until the 23rd. And Lori's going to be coming at some point, not sure yet when. She'd be coming with me anyway, but she's going to be coming. And actually, it turns out she's going to be helping my colleague who I'm sending over there through the end of the year has a little 8-year-old girl she's bringing with her. So Lori's going to help look after her little girl before school, after school, things like that. So they're working out a schedule for that. But my colleague's not going to be there until the week of the 11th. So Lori's going to adjust her times accordingly. But I did look, I'm going to be there over 2 weekends. So I'm thinking about running up to the Cambridge American Cemetery, American Military Cemetery in Cambridge, and the Duxford Air Museum. And as it turns out, this is a good time of year because on the 16th and 17th, the Saturday and Sunday, they're having the Battle of Britain air show. It's the anniversary of the Battle of Britain. So I might take the train up there to Cambridge and take all that in. We'll see how it goes. That would be fun. All right. But before that, next week or this coming week, on Thursday the 7th, I'll be hosting a roundtable discussion about 9/11. I've got 4 of my colleagues at work that are going to tell their firsthand account of 9/11. I shared the link to that in the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. So if anybody wants to check it out, you can just go register and tune in. Yeah, my dad reminds me there in the chat that my brother Terry lives in Valdosta. It turns out that Valdosta and extreme South Georgia got a lot of wind and rain. And my brother has a pull behind like a camper trailer. I don't know if it's maybe 25-footer or something. And had 3 trees go down right through it. So fortunately, they were not in it, but glad they're okay. But they got a lot of cleanup down to do down in South Georgia for sure. Now those root balls on pine trees are pretty shallow, so you see a lot of pine trees go down when it's a very heavy wind. So somebody's asking if I've been to Peterborough. Peterborough. Yes, I've been to Peterborough. What's in Peterborough? I don't remember, but I think Lori and I both been to Peterborough. Never been to Farnborough. Never been to the Farnborough Air Show, but I've been to Peterborough. There's Kelly Cowall. Hey, Kelly, good to have you in there. I was telling everybody about the hurricane damage there down in at the Ruskin location. And I know you've got a way for folks to help on your website and on the Facebook page there. We'll point everybody there. We have pointed everybody there. And then eventually, I know you got a lot of people volunteering to come out and help. Eventually, I'll get a group. I'll spin up a group of, 10 or 12, and we'll come out there and lend a hand like we did last time. I did get a copy, and I have not read it yet, but Kelly's new book is just about ready to order. I think September 15th, I think it'll be generally available. Kelly, tell me if I get all this right, but her new book is called My Service Dog's Place. My Service Dog's Place. Kelly says it is now. Okay, so you can go to Amazon or your favorite book outlet, I guess, and order My Service Dog's Place. I read the opening. Uh, they didn't know the ones Kelly ordered didn't arrive. She's going to mail me one, but it's not going to arrive in time for me to get it before I go to London. So she sent me a copy via email, and I read the opening. And I was like, it was not what I expected, Kelly, which is great. That means I cannot wait to read the rest. I want to read it on my trip. But I guess I had my assumption about it was different, which is always kind of cool. So I read the opening couple of pages and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Let me stop for a minute, because I know that once I get started on it, I'm going to read it from front to back. So I'm going to do it on the plane. But thank you for sending me that advanced copy. Kelly, thank you. My Service Dog's Place. I cannot wait. Okay. Let's see. So tune in for my roundtable discussion if you like on the 7th. I think it's 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. A 1-hour session, very much like the Memorial Day session I did, where I'm just facilitating a discussion with 4 people that have a personal account of 9/11. Of course, I'll be in England, so from 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so it'll be 6 p.m. for me there, but I'll be in our office and have a good setup to broadcast. So, all right. Let's see. Speaking of traveling, our daughter Charlotte, that works for United Airlines, as we speak, she is on her way to San Francisco so she can catch a flight to Sydney. She's leaving about 2 a.m. our time, I believe, or 2 a.m. somebody's time, and flying to Sydney, Australia. So she's going for work. But yeah, I'll look forward to hearing from her all about that trip. Should be fun. Weight loss update. I have not been able to report a decrease in a couple of weeks, but I can today. Last week I reported that I was at 87 pounds, and I had a goal to lose, let's see, from 87 pounds, 3 more pounds, so I could get to 90 pounds. But I'm down another pound, so I'm 88 pounds lost. 88 pounds lost. So it's possible to keep losing it, I guess. I want to lose 88. I lose 2 more, then I get to 90, and then we'll see. Anyway, good stuff there. Good stuff. Okay, let's see. Last week I mentioned that I've had some coworkers, changing subjects. Oh, Amy's in there. Hey, Amy. I had some coworkers. We've talked about this. In fact, both of these young men were Marines, had lost fellow Marines recently. And one of them wasn't doing so well. And I mentioned last week how his manager reached out to me to get some advice on what to do. And, I did the best I could and managed to find some resources and got headed in the right direction and all that. And I mentioned how ill prepared I felt for something like that. I have such a big mouth about it that people come to me and think I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I ended up having a really good talk with this young man, middle of the week, I guess. And he had gotten some professional help and he was feeling much better and very open to talking. I told him my story, connected him with this other Marine who recently lost a colleague. So hopefully we're on the right track. He's very appreciative of having somebody to talk to, and he's actually going back to work Tuesday. So he gave me permission to check on him a couple of days, every couple of days, and I've been doing that. And I'll check on him again tomorrow, make sure he's ready for work Tuesday. But man, just keep that in your mind. And you know, and we'll see how things go. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We're not, and none of us are immune from this, or knowing someone in a situation like this, or having somebody reach out, to ask us advice or whatever. So I'm going to do my best to get some professional training or something somewhere along the way where I feel more confident and better equipped there. We'll see how things go. Okay. All right. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Hat of the week always has something to do with what's going on. Oh, you know what? Hold on a second on the hat of the week. Since Kelly's in there, I mentioned this last week, but I didn't have it to show you guys. But Kelly gave me a very nice My Warriors Place challenge coin. There you go. Look at all the branch of the service emblems there, and the firefighters, and the blue stripe, and then the back. See if I can get that. I want you to be able to read that. Well, shoot. Kind of hard with the glare. There you go. Never lose your way. May you never lose your way. Operation Solid 7. Thank you, Kelly, for that. That's an awesome one. I put it on my shelf there with my other coins. Oh, she did. Okay, that's great, Amy. Awesome. I don't know, Ken. I don't know if they're on Kelly. I don't know. I don't know if they're on the My Warriors Place website or where you can get one. We'll have to defer to Kelly. Maybe you have to show up and volunteer or donate or something. I don't know. Or you can buy it. I know they were selling them, I think, at the event. That's how Carrie got some, I guess. Perfect. Kelly says reach out. Awesome. Awesome. So anyway, hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Had an interesting experience. Oh, I know that's happening, Ken. I know we got a challenge coming up in just a minute. Had some plumbing issues. I had a problem with hot water heater. The temperature and pressure valve would not stop. Those are supposed to open when there's an over temp or an overpressure, and they're a safety feature. Well, this one was open all the time, regardless of the temperature and the pressure. And anyway, it had been replaced before. It was more than I wanted to do. So I reached out on our neighborhood group and said, hey, any plumbers? Who recommends a plumber? And I got this guy, Robert, Trinity Plumbing. And Robert fit me in the next day. Robert lives in a neighborhood. Robert came out and replaced the TMP valve. And I'm like, okay, great. And then a couple days later, I get a nice little thank you card. Who gets a thank you card from your plumber? And got a nice little thank you card from Robert at Trinity Plumbing. Anyway, that reminded me of this hat that I think Lori or one of the kids got me. I fix stuff. That's what I do. I fix stuff and I know things. And in this case, I couldn't fix it, but I do a lot of fixing in this house. So whether it's the sewage ejector pump or the water pressure valve, excuse me, I have to sneeze, air conditioning capacitors, and all kind of stuff. Always have. We bought our first house when we came back from England in 1988. And it was an old house in Plattsmouth, Nebraska. So it needed a lot of things and had a lot of, the house was from the 40s or the 50s, old brick house. So I had to learn how to fix stuff. And I wasn't afraid of it because I saw my dad fix stuff when I was a kid. Nobody paid anybody else to fix anything. You had to fix it yourself, or you had to have a friend or a neighbor anywhere. Anyway, so I've always felt fortunate that I watched my dad fix stuff in the house or cars. So it was no big deal. I just thought, okay, everybody has to fix their own stuff. So anyway, I fix stuff. That's my fix stuff story. So that's the hat of the week. All right. Okie dokie. Well, let's see. I do have one this week in military history item because I was too lazy to go find any others. This is a big one though, and this one, Daryl reminded me of this one, and he's so right. He said our lives would be different had this not occurred. When he says our, he means those of us in the community that flew on or serviced KC-135 airframes. Because on August 31st of 1956, the first production Boeing KC-135A Stratotanker, it's called the City of Renton, made its first flight, August 31st, 1956. And I'll tell you what, 90% of the people on this call right now, had that not happened, our life would be totally different. Now, it could be just different enough that they would have selected another airplane for us to do our business on, or maybe that airborne command post would have never happened. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I think I think Daryl is right when he says our lives would be different had that not occurred. And you know what? Those doggone airframes are still flying. They are still flying. B-52s and KC-135s are just incredible machines that have had son, father, grandfathers fly them. The B-52 will have great grandsons fly them. It's just an incredible story. I'm grateful for the 135. So that is my, and that's my this week in military history item, and that one stands alone. That's how significant that one is. So significant. Yeah, Dad, you're right. The 130 is the same way. 130, B-52, 135s, just incredible airframes. All right, let's see what we got here. How about we move to our challenges here? I know since last week I didn't call out the cemetery challenges or the thank yous, and we had a couple weeks in between. So I'm going to do my best to capture what I know about. I know that Daryl has made at least 2 visits since we last calculated to Jefferson Barracks. I know it was awful hot up in St. Louis because I was there one week when it was 100 degrees, and that stifled things a little bit in St. Louis. But I know Daryl made a couple visits, and then I know my dad has made at least 1 visit to Evergreen Cemetery where my mom rests now. My dad and my sister are orchestrating a nice, it's a private, it's not a national cemetery. It's a cemetery where you have a lot of latitude in how you construct the plot and stuff. And they're putting a border and all this. It looks great. I'll post some pictures on Speaking of Zane. I think you'll enjoy it. But I know Dad goes out there quite a bit. Not just to oversee that, but there's a bench out there now. He's able to sit and just reflect on things. I can't wait to get back down there and see it. Probably have to wait till I get back from England. I did go out yesterday, and it had been a couple of weeks, and it'll be at least 3 weeks before I can get back out there. I went out to Georgia National. The weather was beautiful. Spent a little time out there with Zane. It's about a 40-minute drive one way to get out there. Very nice back road where you go interstate and then get off onto 20 and back roads. My friend Terry Bass, old Air Force buddy, he made a visit to the Confederate Memorial Cemetery. Now, I think Steve Shirley's been here. The Confederate Memorial Cemetery in Higginsville, Missouri, and posted in the Speaking of Zane Facebook group. So thank you, Terry, for doing that. And then what a special visit Ken made to Omaha National Cemetery. And Ken got to pay his respects to Todd Vanderwerken, who many of us flew with, to Roy Walton, who many of us flew with, and to Corporal Dagan Page, that was killed in the one of the 13 killed in the Afghanistan withdrawal. So Ken, I'm glad you got to visit there. Thank you for posting those pictures. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? Up on a rounded hill there. It was very cold when we laid Roy Walton to rest. What was that, Amy, back in March? Ooh, it was bitter that day, and there's nothing to stop the wind rolling through there. It was incredible. But the next day it was warm. It was crazy. It was the craziest thing. But Ken, I'm glad you got to go visit there. Thank you for doing that. March the 13th. Yep. All right. Well, let's see. That's what I know about on the cemetery visits. So that puts us at 880 total visits. 880 total. Who'd have thought when we started this that we would be getting close to 1,000 visits? Yeah, it's crazy. And we had some thank yous over the last couple of weeks. I'll tell you what I think I know about. I know we don't often report these, or we don't often capture them, and that's good that we do these things in passing and don't even think about it anymore. But I know that Daryl had a Marine Corps vet that he thanked going in and out of somewhere. I can't remember what he said. My Aunt Paula had a Navy vet, Desert Storm vet, a Vietnam vet, and then 2 Army vets at the car wash. And one of the Army vets at the car wash goes to her church, and she saw him the next day. I guess she's a greeter. How about that? And then Ken had a Navy Vietnam vet, and Ken is just adding to the list here and said he had 15, 12 in Omaha, 3 firefighters at Sam's. There you go. So 15 on, we knew Ken was going to have a lot on his trip to Omaha. So I'm not surprised to hear that. My dad had 3 Marines. No, not my dad, me. My dad had a Marine and a police officer. He gave him these coins here like this, I think, right, Dad? These thank you for your service coins, I think. Dad handed out a couple of those this week. A Marine and a police officer. Carl Kios up there in Missouri, he was at the base at the commissary, and the E4 happened to be in town, Ken. This is, I guess, the week before last. And he was able to talk to and say thank you to 3 of the Air Force crew members there, and snapped a pic and put it on Facebook. And then I had 3 Marine. These are all colleagues of mine at work that I had the opportunity to interact with in some capacity, some new, some recurring, but 3 Marines, 6 Air Force, and an Army. How about that? So if we add all of that up, I need to add Ken's 15, which makes this 36 for the week. So if I add his 15, 2283, I believe. 2283. So you're right, Ken. We are inching toward the 2,500. What happens when we hit 2,500? Well, we got a round of donations going to My Warrior's Place if we hit 2,500 before the end of the year. So we're at 2283. That's getting us close to 300. So we need just over 200 thank yous between now and the end of the year. And we'll have a little flurry. We'll have a little flurry of contributions to My Warrior's Place. Whoa, look at Ken throwing it down there. That'll be good. How about that? Kelly likes it. Whoop, whoop. So Ken's thrown out the amount, and he's already got some commitments to match. So we're looking forward to that. It'll be great. Thank you guys for playing along on the Think a Vet Challenge. All right. Remember, we're not hunting vets. Just when we're out and about, we're acknowledging vets, or we're starting a conversation, or sometimes it might be, hey, thanks for your service, or it might be, shaking the hand, or, it's just an interaction that we're having, an acknowledgement with a service member or a law enforcement officer. Dad's adding a couple more there, Ken. So Dad's adding a couple more. That'll take us up to 2285. Let me get my numbers right here. You guys know I'm a numbers person. Yeah, Dad goes to Moody Air Force Base down there in Valdosta quite a bit. What's that, Dad? About an hour and a half drive for you? Marine Air Force. Okay, I got it. 2285 is the figure. All right, Ken. Good job there, buddy. Thank you. Glad you made it home safe. Hope you had a productive trip up there. 50-minute drive, Dad says, from Fitzgerald to Valdosta, Moody Air Force Base. Okay, well, let's see. I always like to get to the section where we talk about organizations that we're aware of, or that we know, or that we're involved in, or contribute to, or that we've heard about, read about. Last week, Kelly told us about a consolidated database that's coming that we'll have access to eventually, where we have a destination that we can all go to as a resource. So that'll be great. Oh, Kelly's up in the number here, Ken. Let's get Kelly down for a Korean vet. That'll take us up another. Now the Korean war vets are getting farther in between. They are aging for sure. So Kelly, that'll take us up. I'm going to add yours in here, and that'll take us up to 2286. All right, one more closer to 25. All right, so organizations, yeah. So stay tuned, and I'll make sure that I share that with everybody. But we kind of got our own running list here that we talk about, and each week when there's something to highlight about one of those groups, I'll do it. And there's a couple of groups as a result of trying to help this young Marine who happens to live in the St. Louis area. I found some organizations. One is called Focus Marines Foundation. Focus Marines Foundation. And they are very similar to My Warrior's Place in what they offer and how they approach. They're just very purposeful to the Marine Corps community. And they even have a retreat in Missouri. So I'm going to be connecting this young Marine with Focus Marines Foundation. So I'll let you guys know about that. I learned about another org up in St. Louis. It didn't have to do with this young Marine, but another org. Actually, the president of our company learned about it, and he texted me and said, "Hey, Guy, I want to let you know about this organization. It's called Veterans Community Project, and they're St. Louis based, and they're in the business of tackling veteran homelessness in the St. Louis area. So pretty cool org there. Also pretty cool to get a text message from the president of your company. All right, Running to Honor. I always like to mention Running to Honor. We had a race in July, you guys remember, and I mentioned last week that the 2026 race, every year Aaron has a theme. This year it was the 22 a day. Last year it was Vietnam vets. Well, in 2026, it's going to be all about Specialist Zane McDonald, believe it or not. Zane 2026. So we're going to head up there for that. Very kind of Aaron to do that. A couple of years to go, a couple of more races in between now and then, but that'll be real fun. All right, I mentioned My Warrior's Place, the hurricane flooding, the need there. I mentioned Kelly's new book. I said available September 15th. Actually, I think you can go to Amazon now and get it. My Service Dog's Place. I'm going to read my copy on the plane Tuesday night. And then, Kelly, we look forward to seeing you again on November the 12th. Sunday, November the 12th is the grand opening of the new location. Now, the old location is still open and it needs some work, but the new location is having a grand opening. And I know there's lots of activities going on there, Kelly, and you could not keep Lori and I away, that's for sure. And we'll look forward to seeing you again then, if not sooner, probably sooner for some hurricane cleanup, but that's likely October is my guess, because I won't be back from England until September 23rd. Okay, let's see. I think that's it we had for that. Now, we did have in the Heroes Lost section, unfortunately, this is a section I dread, because we're reporting the loss or injury of fellow service members or veterans. And unfortunately, um, we had a Marine Corps CV-22 Osprey crash in Australia earlier in the week, and we lost 3 Marines, 3 killed, 20 injured. The 3 killed were Corporal Spencer R. Collert, Captain Eleanor V. Bow, she was one of the pilots, but 29 years old. Major Tobin Lewis was the other pilot, and those were the 3 killed. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Of the other 20, I believe that there were 3 in various stages of serious or critical conditions. But everybody, the other 17 evidently did not require any hospitalization. Anyway, it's just a sad thing every time I read about a plane crash. But combat is inherently dangerous, and so is preparing for it. You prepare like you fight, and unfortunately, we rely on machines, and things fail, and humans fail, and unfortunate that something like that happened. Ken reminded me also, and I don't have his name, the young man's name, but I think he was a flight nurse or an air paramedic that was killed in Florida in a helicopter crash just a day or two after that. But tell you what, anybody that's in aviation, it's a hazardous thing. You're defying the laws of gravity, and it's going to happen. But it's a sad thing. Okay, Ken, thank you, friend. Yep. Come Monday, it'll be all right. Yep. I was trying to think of a way to tie Jimmy Buffett's passing in. Now, he was an avid aviator. Jimmy was a pilot of 30 plus years, and a Florida resident. And very sad to see his passing. I know his music is part of the soundtrack of our lives, for sure. Very American, for sure. Sad to see the passing of Jimmy Buffett. But okay, well, that is all I have tonight, folks, for Speaking of Zane. I appreciate you guys joining. There's Joy in there. Hey, Joy. Joy, I was saying, Joy is a high school classmate of mine. Good grief, how long has that been? 1981. But I'm not as grumpy as the shirt suggests there, Joy. But sometimes I can be, I guess. But so great to have everybody in there tonight. Thank you, Kelly. I'll travel safe and look forward to getting back safe. I can't wait to get Lori over there. I know she's got a lot of things planned. She's doing a favor to my colleague by looking after her little 8-year-old daughter, and she's going to be going back and forth through the balance of the year. It's going to be really fun, nice adventure, and really looking forward to it. But so next Sunday night, or for the next couple of Sundays, I may just kind of wing it a little bit on Speaking of Zane. I might be at a point where I'm thinking, I need to do an edition of Speaking of Zane, especially if I go to the air show in Cambridge. But the 8:30 Eastern time is like 1:30 in the morning in Britain. So I'll either have to stay up late or something, but I will let you guys know each Sunday as it comes around what the plan is. And if I don't talk to you again over the next couple, we'll definitely give you a really big update on the following. I guess that would be September 24th. But I've got some military history dates that I already have lined up between now and then. But I'll look forward to seeing everybody, and suck it up. 1:30 a.m. That's not bad, right? Suck it up. All right, gang. Well, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you guys. As I say every week, you guys are absolutely my therapy, and I couldn't appreciate you any more than I do. So we'll see you guys down the road. Have a great week. Have a good Labor Day, and we'll talk to you soon.